Hi again, everybody. It's Kevin Canessa coming to you from the newsroom of The Observer and TheObserver.com on this, the second day of May in the year 2022. Sure hope you're enjoying your Monday, no matter where it is you are in the country. Here in the Northeast, a very gray, drizzly, rainy, gloomy day. But still hope you're enjoying it no matter where it is you are, especially if you're in the area. Today I had a chance to go down to Kearney Police Headquarters and spend the day there with the Axon Company. Chief King was able to get me invited down there. You know, the company Axon makes the body-worn cameras and taser weapons or guns. I'm still not sure if I'm saying that the right way. I don't want them to be mad at me because the last time they did get mad at me, you don't use the word tase as a verb, too. You shoot a taser, but you don't tase somebody. Did you know that? But at any rate, in the next edition of The Observer, I'll have a recap of that. Not for this one, because it was today that the event happened, and they're still down there right now at police headquarters. So it was really nice to spend an hour down there with the Axon Company, and I got a chance to see a lot of people who I haven't seen in a long time, including Jerry Facito. The mayor was there, Steve Marks, Rich Poplawski, a whole bunch of other guys who I haven't seen really in 2 years since the pandemic began. So it was nice to spend the day there, and I appreciate George King inviting us for that. Now, before I get into the news this week, I wanted to let you know that our own Lisa Fiorenzo is now a notary public. So I can't even tell you how many times I've had to get things notarized, whether it's for student loan issues or whatever it is, banking, anything that you can think of, real estate transactions, mortgaging, preparation of a will, power of attorney, things of that nature. How many times you've needed to get a notary, and you're like, I don't know where the heck to go. I mean, I only think I know 2 or 3 notaries in the course of my life, but we just wanted to let you know that our Lisa Fiorenzo is now a notary public. The fees are very reasonable, and of course they're very high in New Jersey in comparison to other states, but there's a minimum cost on every single one of them, and that's what Lisa is charging. So if you need to get something notarized, give us a call at 201-991-1600, and we'll set up an appointment for you so that you can come in and get your documents notarized as you need. But we just ask that you don't come in, because there's a little bit of time involved, so you need to set up an appointment. And again, you can do that by calling 201-991-1600 or sending an email to Lisa at TheObserver.com. This week's front page is a little bit of an eclectic one because we have 3 stories on the front page, and the inside, we're kind of limited on space this week. We had a lot of full-page ads, believe it or not, this week. So the main story is that the Belleville Council voted to ratify all of Mayor Michael Melham's appointments to the Belleville Planning Board retroactively. There's been a scenario going on where a member of the public, whose name is Michael Sheldon, has hired a lawyer, and that lawyer's opinion was that the way that the planning board members, class 4, which are mayoral appointments, were done without council approval wasn't legal. And there's no judge that has said this. There's been no court case where any of this has occurred or been brought to the attention of a judge. But in order to ensure that things are copacetic, the mayor and council met last week, and they had a 4-3 vote in favor of memorializing all of the mayor's appointments to the Belleville Planning Board. There should be enough to end any speculation about whether or not this was done. These appointments were made legally, and I believe the mayor intends on following through on getting appointments ratified by council vote in the future. There's been all sorts of confusion about it, but I think a much, much, much bigger deal is made out of this than it really was. And unfortunately, it comes to us just a few days before the election in Belleville. And, when political issues come up before an election, I always feel a little bit uncomfortable about them because I don't want to be the reason for deciding an election because of something we do or don't report. But that's why we are taking this step today to let you know that the council did ratify and memorialize those previous appointments. It should be enough to move on. We'll see what happens, and if anything else develops over the course of the next few weeks, we will certainly let you know. But again, there was never any point in time where a judge made a decision about this, or anybody who was in a position of authority. Just a lawyer who was hired by somebody who wanted the lawyer to say what he said. So that's where it stands right now. The first color run was this weekend in West Hudson Park. This was put together by the Kearney High School Project Graduation Committee. And I didn't get a chance to speak to a lot of people about it, but I did speak to at least Melanie Ryan, who said the turnout wasn't what was hoped for. The committee decided to do something different this year. There's always a townwide fundraiser, and many of you may recall that the big townwide fundraiser over the years has been the volleyball game that pits teachers against seniors, police officers against firefighters, things of that nature. But they decided to do something different, and this was a phenomenal idea. It really was. It was a gorgeous day on Saturday, and a nice crowd showed up, but I don't think it was as what they had hoped. So here's where I hope you guys will come in. Project Graduation is a very important day in the life of a Kearney High School senior, because there have been so many tragedies on graduation night where kids go out and they get drunk, they get high, and they get dead. And we don't want to see that happen here. And for many, many years, I think it's about 20 years, it's going back to, the days of Steve Dill and starting the Project Graduation Committee when he was on the Board of Education. The committee has always given these kids a memorable night after graduation, that Friday evening. They don't say where it is because they want people to know or be able to try to sneak off or leave early or anything like that. But it's all fun and games the entire night. They get goodies to take home, mementos, things that they'll always remember their Project Graduation night by. But these things cost money, and there's a lot of, these kids have to be fed and they have to pay for the fun and games and all that stuff. So while this was the main fundraiser for the year, other than the gigantic 50-50 that they do, they didn't raise as much as they normally did. And this is something that the kids of Kearney High need, because it keeps them safe and it keeps them alive. So if you have it within your means and within your heart, I know the Kearney High School Project Graduation Committee can still accept donations now. And you can find out more information by searching them on Facebook, Kearney High School Project Graduation, and there will be directions somewhere there where you can figure out how to make those donations. They really could use your help, and it's for a phenomenal cause. You can't ask for more than keeping those kids who are innocent at age 17 safe on their graduation night. So I hope you'll help out if you can, when it's within your means. So please give it some thought. My colleague Ron Lear has a story about the playground at Gunnell Oval, and I didn't realize this, but apparently it's been closed for a good portion of the time that it's been open. That the oval's been open, and we're talking a year ago here that the oval reopened, and it's mostly, from what the mayor says, because the contractor's not coming through on its end of the deal to complete the work, so they may actually have to go out. This is a gorgeous playground here. It's amazing. It's state of the art. It's safe. You're not going to get cut and banged up. Remember, like when we were kids and the sliding pond was metal and there were like screws protruding out? These playgrounds are done so beautifully now. But I think something to do with the flooring, and it warps, and the company that originally installed it is not doing its end, and they may have to go out into bid and get another company to do this. And it's not something that the mayor and the council are very happy about. So read about that on page 1 if you can, because it's a very unfortunate situation that such a beautiful playground is open but not open, because the area is open but the kids can't play on it. So take a look at that, and we'll see what comes of that in the coming weeks. Of course, by now you know that blood was found on a vehicle in North Arlington last week. We still don't know where it came from. We don't. The mayor himself believes that it probably was somebody who got punched in the nose and who bled on a car. A good old brouhaha somewhere in that lot. Now, I want you to keep something in mind. People have been asking, why weren't there any cameras in there? It's a good and valid point. The cameras are something that Mayor Pronti and the council have been working on, and it was something that was a priority back in 2019, but unfortunately, we all know what happened in the beginning of 2020, and because of that, it has slowed down the process, and it's made it very hard to get the cameras themselves, and for the vendors that make the cameras, parts for the cameras. So this is something that Mayor Pronti and the Borough Council will be proceeding with, but at the moment, there were no cameras inside that garage, so that's why there was no video evidence as to how and why the blood got where it was. Now, the fact that there's no cameras at any of the other businesses in the area kind of blows my mind, because there's One Republic nearby, there's a Chase Bank around there, and a whole bunch of other businesses, but I mean, apparently none of them had any surveillance footage at all. I find that hard to believe, but it is in fact a reality. So that's why they don't know who or how it all got there, but I don't think anything suspicious happened, according to Mayor Pronti. And I, as a former police officer, I take his word, because he's seen what bloody noses can do, and he said that's what it reminded him of when he saw it. So check that out, page number 3. Page 4, the Nutley Public Library has an elevator that's about 30 years old. A lot of the important stuff is on the upper floors, and unfortunately, the elevator, for whatever reason, breaks down more than it works. So they got a grant, and they're going to upgrade the elevator or lift, as it were, in the library. So it'll make it a lot easier for people who have physical challenges or the elderly who can't climb up the stairs. So I hope you'll check that out when you can. Also, May is Car Care Month, and we have an advertising supplement this week. So hope you can check that out. And Mother's Day is coming up too. So you can make reservations at the following places, at least, that we know of, because they wanted to tell their customers: Centennial in North Arlington, Loftyama in Harrison. Let's see, the other one is Picnic in East Newark, and the last one is Intrinsic in Kearney on Midland Avenue. So if you still haven't made plans for Mother's Day, it is not too late to do so. Our sports reporter, Jason Bernstein, has 2 stories, including an athlete of the week. Of course, I never tell you who that is, because we want you to pick up and read about the athlete of the week. But he also has a recap of the local baseball scene. It's a very intense schedule, the baseball schedule, and we're about the midway point, and a lot of local teams are doing really, really well. So I hope you check that out. Jason's done a phenomenal job in his first foray with us here at The Observer. We're very grateful to him for the work that he does. And, of course, we still miss Jim Haig, too. So don't forget that, Jimmy, in case you're watching. 2 pages of classifieds, as always. So if you're looking for a place to live or a job or anything of that nature, you will check it out and find it in this week's classifieds, in this week's edition of The Observer. And that is going to do it for this edition of The Observer Live. And I want to thank each and every one of you for logging on and joining me tonight, as you do every week. Pardon my voice. I haven't been feeling well for the last week, but I'm feeling better now, so it's a little bit better than last week, but still not at 100%, so I apologize for the raspiness. I will be back 1 week from today, or sooner if something happens during the course of the week. So we'll see you back here in 1 week, and as always, thank you for joining me. Have a good night, everybody. Hope to see you back here very, very soon. Bye-bye.